Hello out there. Welcome to another ohmTown Daily News show. Today is December 9th, 2022, episode 343. Armored Core 6 reminds me of Robotech and more news. Let's get going. Hello, I am Mayor Watt, and that is ohmTown.com, and I do the ohmTown Daily News show every day at 6 o'clock. I'm a little bit late. I'm going to go through about 10 articles, and we'll see how the rest of the night goes. I don't know. Maybe I'll be able to stick around and see who trickles in. I'm looking at different screens because, well, I've got a bunch of them sitting here. Got to pay attention to them, otherwise they flash and blink and do all kinds of stuff, craving attention. They're like cats. Let's go into the first article. This one is in the Warcrafters channel. All trailers and announcements from the Game Awards 2022. Did you get a chance to watch? It was yesterday. I did not get to see all of it. By the time I could get into it, it was already 3 hours in. Kind of just made me go, well, maybe somebody has consolidated it out there. And lo and behold, one of my favorite sites, PCGamer.com, put it all together. Lauren Morton wrote this article. It's quite long, but I won't go through it all. What I got to see was the animated, and then I had to immediately, ohmTown lets me do something for a minute and then pulls me away at the next. So this one was, I got to see the award for animated. I think it was a brand new announcement, a brand new award. This was pretty cool though. So all of this is what took place at the Game Awards 2022. Announcements and the trailers are over at PC Gamer, so you can follow the link through ohmTown, and that'll be there. So there you go. And it will take you here, and then you can scroll through all of this. But Vampire Survivors, it says Game Awards 2022 announcements and trailers, right? So Vampire Survivors is on there. Valiant Hearts, Coming Home is on there. Returnal is on there. I never saw Hellboy Web of Weird. Never saw Horizon Call of the Mountain. Post Trauma is on there. Viewfinder, Atomic Heart, Scars Above. Relic Hunter's Legend. I'm gonna try and see if there's some VR thing in here. But I didn't see anything at first blush, but let's scroll through here because I'm really interested in VR stuff. Hades 2. Let's see what else is in here. Bayonetta Origins. Let me close that. What else? Party Animals. Last of Us. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Dune Awakening. And there's a lot of games in here. That Death Stranding 2. Tekken 8. Nightingale, which is the one that I am really most waiting for. I want Nightingale to be such I want it so bad to be a hit and amazing. I love the idea of it. It actually goes along sort of, it's the Realm Walkers concept. I grew up a lot during the age of like D&D getting its really first stride. Now it's coming back again, but it's going viral because of so many live plays. And so I grew up with D&D. I grew up with Rifts. I grew up with God, my brain is just going blank because there's so many things in my head now, like GURPS. And I had started and Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk was my jam. I loved everything about Cyberpunk. What's the other one? Shadow. Oh my goodness, my brain. Well, Nightingale is kind of like a role-playing game that I am romanticizing quite a bit because you can walk between realms. That's why it's called Realm Walkers. It's much like D&D. In my mind, I am trying to get into the Nightingale beta. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to stream it, but I really want to play this game, and I want it to be kind of like my forever home. But then I'm going to talk about later another game that's being released that was announced during this, and we'll get to it. Maybe I'll even see it as we scroll through here, because it says Baldur's Gate 3, Wayfinder, Fire Emblem, Sky, Diablo 4, we know. Horizon Forbidden West. These are all things that I want to play out there. So we'll see. Remnant 2, Transformers Reactivate. That might be a whole new kickoff to a game, or a series, but it says what is it? A 4-player online action game, which screams that it's going to be kind of a co-op, maybe have PvP options. There's no release date though. Behemoth, Banishers, Warhammer 40k, another Warhammer 40k thing. Meet Your Maker is a post-apocalyptic first-person building and PvP raiding game. I will probably end up doing that because I'm really into base building. Not really into PvP side, but I could be support. Shouldn't be a problem. Lords of the Fallen, Crime Boss, Rocket City. That has its video age restricted, so yeah, because I'm not logged in anywhere, it won't show it. Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, and everywhere it always mentions Idris Elba being involved in it, so that sounds good. And Armored Core 6, oh my goodness, Armored Core 6, I can't wait for that. And Final Fantasy 16. So what's neat about this list is it has kind of a description of what each of these games are and what their release is and what's new about it. So go over to PC Gamer and you can get more detail and watch each of the trailers all consolidated into one spot. So the next article is over in the Hatch Ideas channel. Amazon is introducing a new TikTok-like feature that allows users to shop as you scroll from a social feed of videos and photos. This is pretty cool if you are into kind of keeping up with the Joneses. If you don't really care about that kind of stuff, then you're not going to be a consumer of this. You might sit there and consume TikTok like it is described as an opium den of consumption, where you can just lay on your side and prop your phone up and swipe and it'll keep on playing. Actually, you don't even have to touch it. It'll keep on playing. But Amazon announced a social shopping feature that will feature content from influencers and brands. Users can shop from a personalized feed of photos. This is like Black Mirror stuff. And short videos on the Amazon shopping app. The company is the latest tech giant to implement a TikTok-like feature. We used to talk about, our parents used to call TV the mind massage machine because it would just play and you didn't have to do anything and you could just sit there. Well, nowadays it's TikTok. But TikTok, as we know, yesterday, the day before, I'm not sure which day it was. Maybe it was yesterday where I talked about TikTok basically being the promoter of engagement. If you want to know about something, then you go on TikTok and it's all near real-time stuff. It isn't really hyper produced like you might find on YouTube. This is all stuff that's on the fly, socially driven, kind of randomly posted. It's the whole stereotypical thought it looked cute, might delete later kind of thing. So that's what Amazon is doing. And this is an article that's over at Business Insider by Jordan Hart, and it says shop as you scroll, has an image of what it's going to look like. And I've always thought it was really cool, but I think what is really needed is a more blanket solution where no matter where you go, you have the potential to scan the video or whatever's on the site and it cross-pollinate to Amazon or some other store. And it does it automatically. That way you don't have to sit there and populate it. Although sites could override what's there and say, hey, go buy this, because this is what really is here, not just an analysis of the website. But this is an Amazon app, so maybe all of this stuff is going to be produced pretty much. The e-commerce giant announced a new feature titled Inspire on Thursday. The Wall Street Journal first reported it, so Business Insider is re-reporting it. And an Amazon spokesperson told Insider the social feed is currently being rolled out to select U.S. customers and will be available to all users in the coming months. Let me pause this video about the America's oldest drum factory. That's over on businessinsider.com too. But that's not what I'm talking about. Let's move on to the next article. The next article is Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty will feature Idris Elba. I just mentioned that. So we're almost going down kind of a recursive Gordian knot of articles talking about each other, because there is going to be another one that's about something from the announcements. Cyberpunk 2077 is getting a major expansion this year, if you haven't already heard about it, Phantom Liberty, and it'll include a major addition to the cast, Idris Elba. I thought the best addition was Carnage, but I have great affinity because I too talk to myself in an alleyway and hope that people listen to me. His appearance was confirmed as part of the new Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty trailer released during the Game Awards on Thursday. Elba will play a character named Solomon Reed. Hopefully this isn't spoilery because it was announced at the Game Awards, as noted in a tweet from developer CD Projekt Red, or CDPR. That tweet also included a few details about the new content in Phantom Liberty. It'll take place in an all-new district of the game's Night City setting. Sounds good to me. This is over at The Verge. Jay Peters is the author, and it says another big name actor is joining Cyberpunk 2077. Sounds good to me. Let's see what else is in here. It'll be a spy thriller expansion, and they also say, don't worry, the new trailer also features the voice of Keanu Reeves, who will be back playing Johnny Silverhand. Man, I love Cyberpunk. So I've always wanted true cybernetic limbs, not really an expansion of what we are on the precipice of right now, but true, as described back in 2077, back in Cyberpunk 2020 and Cyberpunk, the original RPG, meat and machine merged together in a seamless biological unit with that tech. I grew up as a kid playing this game and started doing, when I started focusing on my education and my career choices, what I wanted to end up doing was cybernetics. But the biological technology, cybernetics, because there's an IT version of cybernetics as well. Well, anyway, as years have gone on, I ended up doing martial arts, and I think that's where I ended up hurting my legs. And since then, I've wanted to replace my legs with cybernetic limbs. And as time has gone on, it's just not going to be feasible to do voluntary replacement. The tech just isn't there, and quality of life shifts, it changes. You have to adapt and embrace that change if you have to have a replacement limb. So here's to the future, and all of those who are doing that fundamental research. In another age, in another day, I will be able to do that voluntary replacement like Cyberpunk. But until then, I can say I played games that made this all come true. Cyberpunk 2077, although it's dystopian and Cyberpunk is dystopian, there are little things that make me go, that would be really cool to have nowadays. Let's go on to the next article. This one is also involving the awards, but the announcements in particular. This one is from Software's next game, which is going to be called Armored Core 6. Only just released Elden Ring, and I hope this game isn't as in line with Elden Ring, just with tech. In a trailer at the Game Awards, the famed developers revealed that their next big project is Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. It's set to be released in 2023, so they did not sit around after Elden Ring. This had to be parallel construction. It says here, it's difficult to know exactly what to expect based on the Armored Core 6's esoteric trailer, which featured a lot of lingering shots of giant mechs, but the trailer definitely creates an awesome mood that I hope captures what it's like to play the game itself. So let me go over to the article. It's over at The Verge as well, and Jay Peters once again writes this article, and they say it's going to be everywhere: PS5, 4, Xbox X and S and One, and PC via Steam. I've been actually scooping up a lot of PC VR stuff, so I'm hoping to hit the ground running playing VR stuff. So if you're interested in that, let me know what kind of games you would like me to play. You can send it over to Showbot. So if you type in !Showbot, it'll give you a link, ohmTown.showbot.tv, and if you hit !S and then a message, you'll be able to tell me what game you would like me, or what URL you would like me to go and visit. It should work for everybody, !S, and then whatever message you want to send me. Hell, if you don't like the stream, let me know. But then, we're here to talk about news, business, technology, society from that perspective. You can't get away from either of them, any of them. So good luck. But if you don't want to be here, don't be here. But happy to talk with you about all kinds of stuff, because I can tie it into that triad of things. That said, let's get back to the news. What do you think Armored Core is going to be? Because to me, it screams that Robotech, and I will eat that up. So I loved Robotech from the beginning. I was an avid watcher of it. I keep seeking, upscaled versions of it, higher resolution. I just love the idea of Robotech and Macross stuff in general. So I'm hoping that that's what it is. Even if it is something along the lines of Elden Ring, I want base building though. That's what I really want. And, we'll have to see. I'll be watching that with bated breath. The next article is one of politics, so social. Won't be long in the tooth here when I talk about this, because the reality of this is, I actually hit !, so let me just post it like that. There we go. But AOC wasn't the first lawmaker to attend the Met Gala, but how she got the ticket and that dress may have made her a target for an ethics complaint. This has happened in history before. An ethics complaint has appeared before. And in that particular instance, well, it's not exactly the same. And so context really matters. And I say that pretty much in business and life and here in ohmTown as well. She was wearing a dress that said tax the rich. And this was, for all intents, an invitation to someone who sparks interest. They're a firebrand for politics, political discourse, social justice. And AOC was invited. And what's going to end up happening is people might be inclined to interpret the invitation and the giving of a dress as something of an ethics violation. But then when you look around, and I don't like whataboutisms, because that's just, it's wrong thinking. Whataboutisms. You can't say to one person, go ahead and take this, and then somebody else, no, you can't take this, or here's a gift or whatever, right? But everybody should be saying no to the gifts. And I'm about to do a whataboutism because I'm sitting there looking around going, what about all of these other politicians that are doing all kinds of stuff that there's no light shining on the activities, and they're making out like gangbusters personally for their public position. And I can tell you that civil servants and public service contractors cannot benefit from their position. It's built into the ethics contract. You cannot benefit from your position, but for some reason, some get away with it and others don't. And so I'm saying, yeah, go ahead and look at AOC. And you'll find out that everything that was done was above board, and the implication of it being an ethics violation is nothing more than trying to taint the flow of information around AOC. Right? Did she keep the dress? I don't know. But I do know that she was invited. They were invited by the Met Gala to go. And I don't know about the dress. And even if it was a dress that was gifted to her so that she could wear it at the Met, if she doesn't keep it, or she donates it to somebody or whatever, then fine. Or if she pays for it, fine. But I think that this is nothing more than an attempt to poison the well of AOC. And I find it a little disturbing, unless the same thing is applied to every single Congress critter, public service, whatever, right? But I know from experience that I have flat out turned down gifts from people, and I'm not a highfalutin Congress critter. Well, Business Insider wrote an article about this. Kelsey Lamis is the author of this, and here's AOC wearing the dress that says tax the rich. And yeah, I think it's time to. We need to go back, and it's never been lighter. Taxes on large businesses and the ultra rich have never been lighter. You and I don't have the ability to send our money over to the Bahamas to hide it so that FTX can lose it in a high risk Ponzi scheme. Maybe it's not a Ponzi scheme, but let's just say it's a scheme that promoted very high risk and ended up. Wow, my bandwidth just died again. This is something new, different than I had a while back. But anyway, I'll keep on working through this, and we'll see what it shakes out like on the other side of this. Anyway, the inquiry could be related to a complaint about AOC attending the Met Gala in 2021. One ethics expert Told Insider a potential ethics violation would depend on who paid for her ticket. And it's a little bit deeper than that, because who paid for it doesn't necessarily reflect what the true patron is of AOC's attendance at the Met Gala. But it's something like a $30,000 ticket. And yeah, there it is. So tickets to it's really interesting as I talk about these things and they're in the article. So maybe I can start writing articles. Anyway, the Met Gala is a black tie annual charity event that fundraises for the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute. And tickets for the star-studded event can cost $35,000, while tables can go for $300,000. Last year, the gala raised more than $16.4 million. I could use 8 of that right now. That would be great. House rules include detailed restrictions on gifts that can be accepted by members of Congress. Yeah, well, we know that they are the last bastion of ethics, right? Let's move on to the next article. The next article is in the Word in Tech, and NASA's Webb reaches new milestone in quest for distant galaxies in a land far, far away. An international team of astronomers has used data from NASA's James Webb Space Telescope to report the discovery of the earliest galaxies confirmed to date. The light from these galaxies has taken more than 13.4 billion years to reach us, and it really hasn't reached us. It has reached our lens as these galaxies date back to less than 400 million years after the Big Bang, when the universe was only 2% of its current age. This is pretty spectacular. This next, the article is over at phys.org, and it's written by NASA and published here on phys.org. Earlier data from Webb had provided candidates for such infant galaxies. Now these targets have been confirmed by obtaining spectroscopic observations revealing characteristic and distinctive patterns in the fingerprints of light coming from these incredibly faint galaxies. It was crucial, quote, "It was crucial to prove that these galaxies do indeed inhabit the early universe. It's very possible for closer galaxies to masquerade as very distant galaxies," said astronomer and co-author Emma Curtis Lake from the University of Hertfordshire in the UK. Quote, "Seeing the spectrum revealed as we hoped, confirming these galaxies as being the true edge of our view, some further away than Hubble could see. It is a tremendously exciting achievement for this mission, or for the mission." Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. There is a whole lot more over at this article, but they're looking at slices within slices within slices of what previous telescopes, even Hubble's deep space, could have seen. And it's always fascinating when you do just do a search on Google for photographs from Hubble, and you'll see that what we think is the full picture of what Hubble is, like this, right? What Hubble actually, or I should say what NASA is actually showing you, is this is the full picture of Hubble's field of view. Actually, my hands are actually straight, but you can, because of the way that optics work, you can see that it comes into a point. Well, anyway, what Hubble and what NASA reveals to us is just like that little spot right there, you know, that little spot off in the far distant realm of space, just 14 billion miles away. Just fascinating. And then it's in resolution that we can actually make out that this is this or that or whatever it might be. Here, at least, though, all it is the spectra. So pretty cool. And the more that it can do, the more I will appreciate it. So this is pretty cool tech. So I hope people are out there and interested in this and go and pursue this kind of research. And it all starts in high school. The next article is in the Wanted channel, and this is really an unwanted, but trashed lithium-ion batteries caused 3 garbage truck fires in California. The firm that handles return to Amazon electronics has agreed to pay $25,000 fine after lithium-ion batteries it threw away caused at least 3 different garbage truck fires. iDisc LLC, based in San Jose, California, agreed to a settlement with the DA in Santa Clara County in late November over civil charges regarding improper waste disposal, as noted by eScrap News. The company, according to the district attorney's office, dismantles, recycles, and disposes of consumer electronics that are returned through Amazon, some of which contain lithium-ion batteries. You puncture a lithium-ion battery, it interacts with oxygen, and away you go. One second. So you throw them into the trash, something breaks the packaging, and you end up starting a fire. And who knows, if it would have gotten out of the truck, gets punctured, and starts a fire in some disposal site, who knows how long it takes. There's tire fires that are still going. Well, this article's over at Ars Technica by Kevin Purdy over at arstechnica.com. It says, do batteries really cause garbage fires? Only 3 times in 1 month. And this is just because we know about it. Others happen in other places, and it just hasn't happened 3 times in rapid fire, so nobody has written about it. It says, although nobody was hurt in the fires, the October 13th fire, while being dumped into the street to avoid a vehicle fire, caused the raised bin to catch on overhead utility lines. Wow. The attached utility pole broke and fell to the ground, and these fires are incredibly dangerous to the safety of the garbage truck drivers and first responders, who must then act quickly to deal with the fire, and anybody else that might be around it. So there's a video here that says, it's over on YouTube, but they've embedded it on arstechnica.com, and it's titled Fire Ignites an Eco-Main Facility. I won't play it. You can go over to Ars Technica, just follow the link through ohmTown, and it'll take you straight to it, and you'll be able to watch that video. Of course, you can always go to Ars Technica, but, you know, a gatherer does what gatherer does. It gathers news for me so that I can consolidate it into various categories over at ohmTown. Go check it out. This next article is something I found really interesting as I was going through the news. I pretty much work with every kind of system to some degree. This one is a Linux-ready launch heavy, and it's a $300 mechanical keyboard for number crunchers. So it says here, pre-built mechanical keyboards often neglect Linux support. Users frequently report success in getting a mechanical keyboard's basic functions to work, but many of the peripherals don't accommodate software for controlling advanced features like macros with Linux. Last year, System 76's launch keyboard has been trying to address that problem, but number crunchers will be more interested in the new Launch Heavy. Released this week, the Launch Heavy is a numpad-equipped version of the 84-key Launch. As detailed in our System 76 launch review, the keyboard is one of the most customizable Linux-focused mechanical keyboards one can find. And this Wii that I dropped there is actually Ars Technica. So let's go over to their site, and I'll show you a picture of it, and you can go over to Ars Technica and read more about it. This is an article again over at Ars Technica by Sharon Harding, and it's spelled Scharon. At any rate, I do not like straight keyboards anymore. I I really want everybody to adopt mechanical keyboards that are split. Obviously, any split keyboard, but fully split, not the ergonomic keyboards that are big, bulky masses that are curved. It needs to be completely split so that you can tent it the right way, you can angle it the right way, and it's more in line with the human condition, which is not breaking your wrist 90 degrees so that you can have a straight line as a home row. This is convenient, but not, and it's form over function. The form of this is convenient for manufacturing, but if everybody were to adopt split keyboards, the manufacturers would go, oh, holy hell, let's just make sure that we split it in half, manufacture the two boards, which is the same consumption, give or take maybe 10% of one board, because it's the same number of keys, it's just split differently. And I can buy these boards. These breadboards are somewhat inexpensive, and you can solder your own keyboard together. And a lot of us have done that kind of stuff because we're into mechanical keyboards and we've done countless hours of soldering. Well, split keyboards are so expensive. $300 is nothing for a truly high quality split keyboard. The least expensive that I can find that is of any quality is the Mistel split keyboards. And sometimes you can get one that's silenced and doesn't have LEDs. That's the one that's on my keyboard or on my desk right now, but I've got a LED backlit one that's mechanical and loud versus the silenced mechanical. And you know, I'd be curious if it is truly compatible with the Linux system easily. I can tell you though that it doesn't have a number pad, so you literally have to buy a separate number pad for many split keyboards. Anyway, it looks pretty. The Launch Heavy looks pretty, but I still think that we need to split these keyboards. To save everybody's wrists, to save the world's wrists, we need to split the keyboard so that it doesn't do that break constantly if you're spending 8 hours. And believe me, I've been there. I spend 12 to 20 hours in front of a keyboard. Okay, so let's move on to the next article. This here, I was gonna go down the rabbit hole of dummy thick, but let this AI exercise bike make your cheeks dummy thick for $250 off. This is an article by Vice.com, and I was gonna go down the rabbit hole of explaining what dummy thick is, but basically, I'll let you do that risky Google search. Some of you may already know what dummy thick means, but it says here, we may not be Cody Rigsby, but we still appreciate a good cycling workout to cancel out our excessive consumption of hibachi and Negronis. Yep. Pretty much spot on, but for me it's sushi, not necessarily hibachi, but sushi and barbecue. Not at the same time. That said, the ever-popular Peloton is a whole other level of intensity, and we're not quite sure we meet their book of standards. This, again, is the author speaking from Vice.com. We're trying to break a sweat and burn some calories, not get in touch with our feelings, and listen to our tattooed instructor cry and spew motivational quotes. Yikes. Come on. Let's go look at the author here and say, who hurt you, Nicoletta Cardi? Anyway, Peloton, they kind of screamo at you. Every time I've seen something, it's like, go, go, go. Like I have a drill sergeant on a bicycle. Just back off. I want to ride my bike and get aerobic. Not be driven up that hill and take that hill, soldier. Anyway, this new bike, Carol is a AI feature that keeps your workout rides short and powerful for buns of sweaty steel, according to Nicolette. And Peloton, though, is kind of, I don't know, all over the place now. They got a rowing machine that I think is big and bulky and ugly and kind of doofy. I don't know. I just don't like it. I would rather have what I'm doing, which is I've got a rowing machine that I have removed all of the parts. I mean, I could make this as a product if somebody is interested. And really what I'm doing is I'm shaving it all down. So all I have is the sled, and pressing that up against the wall like it would normally do if you wanted to. I mean, it's basically like the Peloton, except that I also have a tonal, and so I'm using the tonal as the resistance for my rowing, because you can put the arms wherever you want and just basically do a horizontal pull. So yeah, I'm in the process of doing that. Well, this is a $2,500 bike still, right? But it's $250 off. But this bike is supposed to use artificial intelligence to optimize your ride. Thought it was really interesting. It says, that said, the bike's big robot brain makes the cost justifiable, given that you can personalize your bike to your exact specs for optimal resistance training. As the saying goes, you've got to work smarter, not harder. It only makes sense that would apply to, well, workout equipment, right? Well, it says here, your fitness-starved brain is probably thinking, what the hell does that mean? Effectively, the Carol bike includes an auto-adjusting feature to keep your ride tough for a range of short workouts. Using AI, the Carol bike is able to actively personalize the right resistance and instantly alter it on the fly, resulting in prime sweat sesh. This is what tonal does. Active resistance. So if I pull too hard on the weight, it can actually activate in real time to increase tension so that I fall within a zone, because if I'm just doing this move really fast, whatever it might be, I'm not actually stressing my muscles to either do tone or mass. It's just a hot mess. So you tell it what you're trying to do, and it will increase the resistance a certain amount. How much it does it, I think it does it by 5-pound increments, but maybe that fidelity is just a software update away. Carol apparently does the same thing. But yeah, so it's really interesting. Reduced exertion, hit, and re-hit. So that's what they call it, re-hit. And that high intensity workout is really one of the things that gets your heart just pounding. I'm getting up there in age, so high intensity workouts for me basically mean getting out of bed fast. So users have given the bike a 4.7 out of 5-star rating for having their glutes reach dump truck status after continued rides. Come on now. Anyway, besides outshining your run-of-the-mill or run-of-the-treadmill SoulCycle spin bike, other key Carol bike features include handlebars with 5 grip positions, an 11-inch touchscreen, Bluetooth connectivity, including the ability to pair with your Apple Watch, and if you're committed to keeping an eye on your heart rate to optimize that re-hit workout, a wearable heart rate monitor to track performance sold separately is the perfect accent to your new Carol bike. But still has a $15 membership and $2,600, but you can take $250 off apparently. I'm not an ad for that. I'm just telling you about it. So the thing that started off today's news was something that I was sent, and I wanted to say Florida beach or Florida ship or whatever, kind of like the Florida man or Florida person or whatever that is typical, but I just couldn't make it happen. The joke just wouldn't land, kind of like what I'm saying right now. Well, that mysterious object on a Florida beach, it's not a person. It's a shipwreck. Last month, people noticed wood jutting from the sand in Daytona Beach shores. Speculation ran wild, but archaeologists now say that it was a ship, most likely a 19th century merchant vessel. It's over at the New York Times. You can follow that link that I just threw in there. And last month, people noticed wood jutting from the sand at Daytona Beach shores. And that's what it looks like. Archaeologists studying a wooden structure in the sand in Daytona Beach shores, Florida, on Tuesday. A maritime archaeologist said that it was most likely a wreck of a merchant ship from the 1800s. I bet you some research, maybe by the way, this article is by Christine Hauser and Jesus Jimenez. Some thought it would be part of a shipwreck. There was a suggestion that it could be bleachers set up decades ago when NASCAR races were on the beach. Others wondered if it could be remnants of a bygone pier. Well, this week the mystery was solved, although I still think that maybe it's a little bit more educated guess than absolutely proven. But it says here, this week the mystery was solved. A team of archaeologists excavated a 60-foot trench along the row of timbers on Monday and Tuesday, and from its burial ground, the object revealed itself as a seafaring vessel with curved wood, ribs, and sand-logged joints. It's definitely a ship. There's no way it's not a ship. What if it isn't a ship? I don't know. Anyway, the buried secrets of Florida's maritime past are regularly revealed by shifting sands, ebbing and flowing tides, and violent disruptions from storms. In an interview, Chuck Mead, I think, a maritime archaeologist, as he was preparing for another examination of a wreck that was previously discovered on Little Talbot Island, Mr. Mead said that the latest find was most likely a privately owned merchant ship from the 1800s. Dun dun dun. I love discoveries like this. There's supposed to be a bunch of them off the coast, all up and down the East Coast. Not so much over on the West Coast. Not so much in the Gulf. But ships abound on the East Coast, because that's where we all landed. All us humans landed from far-flung places onto the East Coast and then migrated across. Even though there were people here already. But I'll leave that alone, at least for now. And that's it for today. Ta-da! That is the ohmTown Daily News for December 9th, 2022. Again, I am Mayor Watt, and that is ohmTown.com. Go over there, go over there and sign up. Become a citizen of ohmTown. From there, make comments. Come and hang out with me here on Twitch. Go over to YouTube and watch other longer-term storage of the VODs. And there's the podcast. Just do a search for ohmTown. And that's it. Ta-da. Thank you very much for coming. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.